Hi, my name is Claudia. I am a journalism and promotional student here at Cleveland State University. Thank you for coming in today to answer some of the questions that us students have with everything that's been going on in the recent pandemic.
It's my pleasure to be here today, Claudia. Nice to meet you. My name is Dr. John Holcomb. I'm Interim Vice Provost of Academic Programs, and so I've been involved in planning some of the academic issues as we move forward with the fall semester.
One of the first questions that we have is, can you explain the thought processes and decision making that went into what classes and what students would be allowed back on campus this upcoming fall semester?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yes, it was indeed a very thoughtful and deliberate process. What we did is we spoke with faculty and their department chairs to identify the courses that they felt needed to be on campus, that used equipment or used spaces that are here on campus that enhance the learning experience in ways that remote learning just can't do. So a lot of these classes would be studio classes, lab classes, things like that. We also asked faculty if they preferred to teach on campus in a face-to-face environment, and so many faculty did indicate that that's what they would prefer, and so where possible we tried to have those classes on campus as well. And then the final criteria was looking at providing our first-year students, our newest students, with an opportunity to come on campus and to experience the campus. So many of our 100-level courses as well were identified to meet face-to-face.
We've heard that CSU has at least 50% of classes that are going to be on campus. To accommodate social distancing, will the classes be smaller or bigger?
To accommodate the social distancing, some classes will be smaller. So a general, not completely true, but a general rule of thumb was if a class had 60 or more students in it, it was moved to remote. Or if it did have more than 60, some professors chose to use a flex environment where some subset of the students will come. So maybe half the class will come on Tuesdays and half the class will come on Thursdays. And CampusNet indicates if it's going to be a flex class or not. And so most of the classes will have fewer than that. And so most of them will be smaller, but there'll be some larger ones in the flex format.
Okay. To follow up on that, will that create any instances of students getting shut out of some of the core classes?
No, it should not. We're watching the class registrations and the wait lists for classes. We also, for courses that offer multiple sections, we also tried to offer a remote option as well to provide flexibility for student needs. And so there should be enough sections for students to be able to take the classes that they need.
Will you be using any non-traditional spaces for classes like lounge areas?
Well, we will be using non-traditional spaces, but not lounge areas. We'll be using places like the Student Center Ballroom, the Fenn Tower Ballroom. We'll even be using one of the gyms in the rec center. So yes, there will be some non-traditional classroom spaces, but they will be set up with social distancing and the AV equipment for the faculty to teach the class.
Do you think that the quality of education will be the same for students who remain on campus versus those who are choosing to do remote learning?
I think the quality is going to be very high for both modes of delivery. We learned a lot from what we did in March and April and May to close out the spring semester with the remote delivery. And we've done a lot of professional development over the summer for faculty to enhance their remote teaching. And so I think that the quality in either the remote learning or the face-to-face is going to remain extremely high.
Will there be any accommodations for students who have a medical condition that puts them at high risk for COVID?
Yes, indeed there will be. So if a student feels that they have higher risk for COVID, they should contact the Office of Disability Services and ask for an accommodation. They'll be able to walk them through that process and provide them with that accommodation.
I noticed that there are a lot of flyers posted telling students to keep moving. If I see an empty chair on campus, does that mean that I can sit or I can't sit on them?
Well, hopefully you won't be seeing too many empty chairs, and it'll be very clear where students are able to congregate and where they're not. We're going to be recommending that students use the library, the first floor and the second floor of the library, to go if they have a face-to-face class and then they have a remote class close by and they don't have enough time to go home. The library is the place to go where they can sit in between classes and catch up on their work, or to even participate in a remote class if they don't have time to get home. Now, if they do have time to get home or they're living in the dorms, we do recommend that they do go off campus as soon as their class is over to help minimize the footprint here on campus.
Okay. Lastly, will there be any public areas open for studying or tutoring sessions?
Well, like I said, the library will be open for that kind of activity. Tutoring is going to be done online like we did in March and April. And so I think we found that Zoom actually worked very, very well for tutoring. And so to minimize the health risk, we'll continue to do remote tutoring.
Thank you again for coming in and answering these questions.
It's my absolute pleasure. Great talking with you and meeting you.